Adesu Amoruan is already with us, and she will take us through top stories with regard to COVID pandemic. Over to you, the queen of the Edo Kingdom.
Yes, indeed. Oh, always a pleasure with the great Malabites. Thank you so much. So let's look at the global figures as we normally would do to begin the segment. According to the Johns Hopkins University tally, we do know that so far we now have 598 million infections and at least 6.4 million casualties from this pandemic, and over 12 billion vaccine doses have been administered across the world against the virus. Well, let's come to Nigeria. We do know that the NCDC, that's Nigeria CDC, doesn't report daily figures anymore for infections and deaths. However, we do have the vaccination agency that continues to push out data. So what you're looking at is the spreadsheets for the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory when it comes to vaccination, first dose, second dose, and even booster shots. So, yes, the vaccination agency in Nigeria says that 29.6 million of the targeted eligible population have now been fully vaccinated, while 12.3 million are partially vaccinated. Nigeria aims to vaccinate 70% of those targeted population. It's not looking to vaccinate the entire population at this time. No country has been able to achieve that so far. However, we are still lagging. The target is for the end of this year, and we are counting down to the end of 2022 already. Let's go to Bayelsa State, where in the south of Nigeria, where the state has launched the Scales 3.0 COVID-19 vaccination campaign with a call on the people to make themselves available for the immunization. The man you see on the screen there is the deputy governor of the state. He is Lawrence Ewujakpo. While flagging off this strategy, he dispelled rumors that the vaccines are fake. That's something a lot of states are dealing with, misinformation about this entire pandemic. Well, he appealed to the public to take advantage of this third round of the immunization against the virus. When you look at the data for states making progress towards vaccinating 70% of the eligible population, Bayelsa State is at the bottom of that table, alongside many other states in the south as well as in the southeastern region of Nigeria. It comes after the federal government launched its own Scales 3.0 as well earlier this month. And finally, away from Nigeria, let's go somewhere else where the result of a study in Israel from 109,000 patients has now revealed that Pfizer's COVID-19 pill, Paxlovid, appears to provide little or no benefit for younger adults. However, they found that it reduced the risk of hospitalization and death among people aged 65 and older by roughly 75%. This is not different from the data the company provided that got its authorization in the US and many other countries that are using it now. President Joe Biden was treated with Paxlovid when he was infected twice recently. Now, for those aged 40 and 65, they found out that there was no measurable benefit for the usage of this drug. Now, a country like America, the United States of America, that has invested so much into this drug, they might be having second thoughts. Millions of dollars have been invested to buy this drug to treat Americans, and we're waiting for the response of the American government to this latest study. Finally, to the UK, where routine COVID tests in hospitals in the UK are to be scrapped next week, despite a near doubling in UK deaths from the virus in the summer compared to what we saw in 2021 summer. The move to stop asymptomatic testing in high-risk settings such as hospitals, care homes, prisons, and homeless shelters come after cuts to funding to deal with COVID-19, and that was a move made by the Tory leadership contender Rishi Sunak when he was just the Chancellor. And testing for those displaying COVID symptoms, however, in these settings that I've mentioned, including the health and social care staff in those places, will however continue. Immunocompromised patients in hospitals and care homes will also continue to be tested. So are we moving away from COVID in every aspect, in every country? Back to you guys.
Well, I wouldn't say so. Let's start first with the UK. The UK the authorities are saying that, look, this is clear evidence of the fact that the strategy adopted by the UK worked. In other words, there has been a drop in hospitalizations, there's been a drop in deaths, and even in the infection rate. And because of that, persons who are asymptomatic, may not necessarily be tested. But if you present with symptoms, then of course you have to be tested. Part of the strategy previously was to test people in care homes and also in health workers and all of that. But all of that is now being reviewed. But the whole idea is just an affirmation of the fact that much progress has been made. However, there was a point that was made by the Health and Social Care Secretary. I think his name is Steve Barclay. He says that the authorities will continue to monitor the situation closely and work with other sectors to ensure that testing is provided wherever it may be needed. So it's not as if the UK authorities are moving away completely. In fact, one strategy that the UK has adopted is what they call the autumn booster jabs for persons from 50 and above. So, and that people should take advantage of this. One of the strategies is also to provide information and mobilize people. So it will not be exact to say that, oh, maybe they are walking away from it. Now, the other thing that I find interesting in the UK is a statement made by Rishi Sunak, who was a chancellor and was part of the COVID management process in its capacity as chancellor. After all, he was the one that executed the follow scheme. Now, in the course of campaigning for office of prime minister, he was now saying that scientists were given more than they deserved, and that at the time, in terms of the design, too much attention should not have been paid to the scientists, particularly the independent experts under the Scientific Advisory Group of Experts, SAGE, that we were quoting almost on a regular basis at that time, while we were reviewing, COVID in the UK. Well, is Rishi Sunak, is he just making a political statement, or is he just saying this consistent with the attempt by both himself and Liz Truss to criticize some of the policies of the same administration in which they served? As for Paxlovid, well, that result published in the New England Journal of Medicine, well, the design of that study has been criticized to the extent that this is just based basically on large profiling of reports from Israeli hospitals involving about 1,900 persons. But that originally, the Paxlovid, when it was introduced last year, it was meant to address the needs of persons who are immunocompromised and persons who are older. And that is why the effect that have been seen in persons above 65 is simply because, look, it was actually designed for them, and also for children who may be suffering from obesity. And it was on the basis of that that the US government invested millions of dollars, buying those pills. But persons between 40 and 65 were told, if it looks like it has no benefit for them, it's simply because many of the persons between 40 and 65, before Paxlovid was introduced by the US FDA, they had already taken shots. They had already taken booster shots. So the study is saying more or less that this is a confirmation that if you have taken your booster shots, you've taken the original vaccine, then you have a certain level of immunity that will protect you. But that persons who are vulnerable and immunocompromised, Paxlovid is still, of great relevance to them. And there have been other studies saying the same thing as this latest study in the New England Journal of Medicine. But that in itself does not mean that Paxlovid is not working. No, it is working.
Okay, at this one, coming back home now, what can we do differently to get more people to take this jab? Bayelsa relaunching the campaign for people to take the vaccine. Of course, there are still skeptics, some even saying maybe it's fake and all that. So what do we do differently for states? Because in some states, they are going from community to community, just the way they go with other vaccines for children. They go along with the COVID jab for those who have not taken one, for those who are due for second or booster jab, as the case may be. So perhaps it's the way to go. All states need to get out, but we're not hearing so much in terms of pushing for more people to take the campaign, to take the vaccine. So it's not only the people that are just skeptical or lackadaisical, but it's like governments too across the states are not pushing hard for people to take the vaccine.
Well, Adesua, just before you go, just to add that vaccination is really important, either for COVID or for other, medical emergencies. Because in India now, even with COVID-19, they have just reported something called tomato flu. Blisters that look like tomatoes. And 82 children have been affected and it's spreading. So I hope our health authorities here, are paying attention because, tomato flu doesn't look like something that is good. It looks like another health emergency. Okay? Thank you very much. Adesua Omo.